Okay, after downloading and installing the virtual game board by Statarama, here's what you're going to see. The virtual game board was, I had come up with this idea because of a cluttered desk, and I didn't have room for my charts and things. I like to play Stratomatic baseball, and have my charts and my dice and my game board laying around. And I thought how nice it would be if I could play a game in any stadium rather than the generic game board that I had. And being a Google SketchUp kind of freak, I had made ballparks and had access to other photos from my other games to ballparks. And I thought, why can't I make a virtual game board with pieces that I can move around on the virtual stadiums? And this is what I came up with. So here's the virtual game board. It kind of fills that space between the actual board game and the actual software-based games. It's a hybrid of those two things. So let's take a little tour of the interface here and see what we have. Here we have home and visitor, and this is where we will load our home and visitors teams. And these are team files. A few of them come with the game. And you'll notice that as I go in here, it loads these team files into their respective boxes, rosters. The top 9 players in your team file will show up as the top 9 players in your box here. And you'll notice that you can take any name and you can append data using an equal sign. So here we have Haywood Sullivan. His catcher rating is 4, steal rating is E, and his running rating is 1 to 9. So I always put just the top end of his run rating. So this is an example. Norm Cyburn, first base 3, steal rating E, run rating 1 to 12. So these ratings, and you set these files up with your Stratomatic cards. These are Stratomatic ratings, for example, here on the Kansas City data. So the Stratomatic card data is listed in here with the roster players. Or you can dig through and look up the cards as you go through. The whole idea for this was to allow you to be able to store that right here where you could just look at it. It's right there. So now what we have to do is, after loading both of our teams, what we want to do is select a pitcher. So how we do that is we just go down, we select our pitcher like Bob Friend, and this little gray area right here says visitor pitcher. When I put my cursor over it, I double click that to assign my pitcher. Now if you're using photos, as the manual says you can do, if you have photos in the player photo folder with the same name, the subfolder, or with the player's name in there, you can use the player. He'll show up and the pictures will show up right here, as will the players that you click on up here. You don't have to use photos, but it's kind of a nice thing. So then we're going to go out here and select our pitcher, Orlando Pena. We double click that, and now we're kind of ready to play ball. Now you need to have the actual Stratomatic cards. You need to, and here's the beauty of it. You can use this with Stratomatic, APBA, Status Pro Baseball, I believe, Guru Baseball from GuruBaseball.com. The idea here was to create a generic game board. As a matter of fact, you can just go ahead and swap out the choose your whichever particular field that you want to play in. Here's old KC Municipal Stadium graphic. And you can move the game pieces around. Here we have game pieces that are movable from first, second, around the playing board, the virtual board here. And so we can move those around while we're playing. And that's all you really need. You can use your physical dice and your cards and your charts, and just use the ballpark background of your choice. You don't have to use any of the other features. But there are some nice features available here. So under the options, if you click the options open here, you can use the crowd noise is available. Also, you can show dice, and these dice are set up for Stratomatic. There's a roll sound that plays when you roll the dice, and you can move that around if you so choose on screen and put it somewhere convenient. I like to use Stratomatic baseball with this. In addition, you can increase the size of the photos, not the picture photos, but any other the photos for the players that will show up here. You can also mute the dice button if you don't want the dice sound to appear. The number of total outs in the game is tabulated here. And in case you make an error, you can adjust it here as well. Once you load a ballpark other than the default, you can choose random ballparks, and every time you click the ballparks button up here, it will randomly load a ballpark from the folder where you have your ballparks stored in. So you can just do that every once in a while. If you want to put a bunch of, if you want a folder with a bunch of Wrigley Field pictures, you can just switch Wrigley Field photos one after another. So there's almost no end to what you can do in that regard. You'll have to turn that off if you actually want to manually reload a ballpark that you want to use. You'll have to turn the random ballparks off. PayPal donate, no need to donate. This is a totally free program. I created this to say thanks for people providing all the mods on the internet, photo packs, logo packs, all that stuff. Places like Brian's Ballparks, a Padres fan, these places where these guys are doing listing all this free stuff for simulation players. I love that stuff. Thank you. This is kind of something to give back. It's a freebie. It's on me. Our next move here is we need to select a team at bat. So we're going to start over here. Now the team that's currently at bat is going to be white. The other one will be grayed out. So we start with the visitors, obvious, and we click at bat. We click the top name in the list, and that player, if we're using photos, his photo will show up, and we can put him down, and we can use our cards, and we can roll our dice and get a result against Pena, and there's a strikeout. Now these are my results. I can click strikeout, out recorded, and if I go to my stats form, you'll notice that once the out recorded, we're ready for the next player. Go to my stats form, you notice that Jim Palironi, 1 strikeout, 1 at bat, and Orlando Pena, 1 strikeout. Here's the box score from the front. We'll duplicate back here on the stats form. We can save this to HTML or Excel as well, and logos will show up here. There are no logos and photos that come with the game, but there are, like I said, lots of freebies out there and stuff. So now what we do is we choose our next player up in the batting order, Don Clendenin. And Don's going to ground out. And now we have throw out, tag out, pop out, foul out, ground out, line out, double play. The only thing that records are strikeouts. These specific types of outs don't record into the stats folder. You know, obviously a result records as an at bat. We can also move this around on the screen like we can the dice roller if we wish, by clicking checking the move button and then dragging it somewhere. Single, double, triple, home run, RBI, walk, and stolen base will record to the stats form over here. And so next guy up then with 2 outs. This outs I had mentioned over here, the total outs will every half inning tabulate over here. But also this is editable here as well. And so let's go ahead and put Mazeroski in and see what we come up with. And there's a fly out for Mazeroski. And at the end of an inning, it'll tell you it's the end of an inning, and it'll automatically switch sides. Now Casey's up, this gray's out over here. Casey's up. Now you'll notice in the box score up here, and you'll notice down here as well in the options form, there's 1 through 10 up here, boxes for innings 1 through 10. This is 11 through 20 over here. So if you have extra innings, you can go all the way to 20 innings, and all this tabulates over here. Now one of the cool things is my favorite feature. The 1 through 0 up here function like calculator buttons. So I just put my cursor in there and click 0, and it puts a 0 in there. Yellow means that half an inning is over and that you need to enter something in there. You click the update button and it will update runs, hits, and errors. Reset will actually put also update this box score automatically, but it'll also put all the photos down here, photo game pieces back where they belong on screen. So now Kansas City's up, so we take Haywood Sullivan. And that is a pop out. And Norm Cybern. And there's a single. Jerry Lumpy. Now we're getting somewhere. And as you can see, I can move anywhere I want these players, set my players up anywhere I want on the game board, virtual game board. You can actually, I'll show you here in a minute, you can double click in one of these player photos and it'll set it back to blank. If you're not using player photos, it'll put the name of the player in the file. So you would see Norm Cybern's name on the little game piece and Jerry Lumpy's name here on the game piece. That allows you to keep track of who's on base. That was always kind of a difficult thing to do with your cards, trying to remember, you know, who's on base and why you're playing the game. But that can be done. You can put the player's name on there if you decide that you don't want to use photos or don't have a photo pack. And so, in essence, the game is just like any other Statarama game, other than you don't have a game board in front of you. You'll have just the cards, or an APBA game. You'll just have your cards, and you won't have anything else. You can use the dice roller and all the tools, you know, by themselves here on the screen. So here we've got a ground out. Holds, and we got 2 outs here, and Eddie Charles. And fly out, and that ends it. So once again, it's yellow up here, and we put our value in there, and it takes us back over here. Now we can actually move people around. Obviously you don't want to move the lineup. You want to move people in the lineup and out of the lineup. We can actually do that with the move or edit. The move part we can drop, and whenever you drag somebody, so we can click move edit, and we can actually take Verdon and put Verdon on top of Schofield, and it'll put Verdon above Schofield. So it always drops in front. Wherever you drop and let go of the left click button on the mouse, it will drop that player above that player. So if I were to go up to Palironi, it would put Verdon at the top of the lineup. I got my lineup all messed up now. Obviously I can straighten that out if I wanted to, but you get the idea. Now let's say I want to edit Verdon. I want him to play right field, and I don't want to have to look it up all the time. I can go in here, click into this little white box while I'm checked down here, and I can say BILL, Bill Verdon, and an equal sign, and I could say right field, let's say he's right field 3, and do that, and then I double click Bill Verdon, and it automatically changes Bill Verdon to right field 3. Undo my move edit. The game won't progress. You won't find player names or player photos changing until you take this move edit out. So if you find that your photos aren't changing or the names aren't changing, it's the move edit feature that you need to untick that box so you can continue the game. Now another feature that this has that is probably one of the coolest features as well is you can, these little, you're probably wondering what these are right here. These are chart buttons, and I have taken my Strat-O-Matic charts and made JPEG files of them, and you can take your statistical simulation charts, scan them, create a JPEG file, replace the JPEG file default that's in the program folder that says chart 1, and it will launch your chart folder or your chart here, chart file, automatically, meaning that you don't have to have the physical charts. My charts are right here. People say, well, where's my chart? Well, they're right here. I've got all the chart stuff I need. and you can recreate your charts. And I think I recreated my Stratomatic charts actually in Excel painstakingly, but I did it. But then you take a JPEG of that, or a scan of the physical charts that you have, resize it, and you can put it in here, and it will read that. And here's another great feature is now you can take and you can control, and in some instances you need to tap the control button once and then hold it down, and you can put this is the basic chart, and then I double click that, and it's permanently named. It writes that data and remembers what you have that called. So that's my basic, and here I have my advanced hit and run chart, so I can actually call that ADV H and R. Double click that. Now I probably don't like that too well because I probably want a space there. And I can do this, and I have 9 of these that I can use. And here's my advanced sacrifice Stratomatic chart, advanced squeeze. Here's my catcher and outfield fielding chart. And I also have my basic fielding chart. These are my infielders. Then I have, here's what the charts look like from default. Charts 1 through 9, chart 7, chart 8. You just replace these, your JPEG files, with scans of your charts, like I said. And no more of this fumbling with charts and looking things up. So you can customize those. I also have a HTML file in the charts folder called rules. You can replace that file with the rules for the game that you want to play, and it will launch. And so you can have your rules file here to look up with Internet Explorer. You can Control F, and then you can find anything that you want to find in your on your web page. So it's an HTML file. This is the virtual game board help file. In this file you can consult to help find answers to questions you might have and how to use things, and it runs down a number of the features that I've been running down in this video. I know this is a long video, but it's much easier than trying to write a gigantic help file. Just be able to get in here and talk about it with you about the game. So that's the whole idea. The whole idea is that these charts are customizable, the rules are customizable, the rule button, and it allows you to take the game that you want, your statistical simulation game, and your charts and things that you use, and create this type of a hybrid environment. Now what you can do from that is you can take and you can then export your data to Excel, and so your Excel file then will come up. Now you have to have Excel or a clone of Excel. Calc, perhaps OpenOffice.org Calc, I believe, is a clone. Excel is what this is designed for, and what it does is then it gives you the full rosters and access to the raw data that you can actually compile your own stats, and do that if you so desire to do that. It's all designed. I used to do mine by hand on these clipboards with these notebooks, and then transfer that into Excel. This allows you to go ahead and put it in Excel and keep from the get-go. You have your box score in there. You can keep track of your box scores on a page or a separate page or a separate tab, and do what you want. So it's really kind of old school. It's more of a hands-on thing. It's designed, like I said, to take it out of the game board realm, but yet still give you the game board type of feel. Plus, it gives you accessories like being able to play a game in any ballpark that you might want to play in. So there's an old Oakland Coliseum photo. So there's really no end to the ballparks that you can, you just have to go out and find them. This is one that I built in SketchUp. So I've got several of them that I'll be posting out here. Support@statarama.com is the contact email if you have questions about this. I'll probably be adding some features periodically as I have time here and there to upgrade the program, kind of do some things to it. But it's absolutely free, 100%. And I want people to enjoy this. This is my way of giving back to people for all the mods and the hard work that they've done posting photo packs and logo packs and mods and creating custom programs that work to tabulate specialized data, like out of the park baseball. People have written mods for these types of programs, Statarama. And I want to say thanks, and this is my way of doing it. It's absolutely free, the virtual game board. I hope you enjoy it. Right now it's in beta form. This is build 001 beta because I'm the only one that's ever played it and tested it. And so this is the beta version, and you go into the about. This is version 096 build 001 beta. And there's a little blurb in here that tells you about me creating the program to say thanks for people providing other free things for the whole community. I'm doing this on behalf of everybody, and I hope you really enjoy it. I've got a kick out of making this thing. I didn't know at first it was going to work, but I had an idea of what I wanted, and I kind of tweaked it and got it the way I like it, and I actually kind of have fun using it. So I hope you do as well, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope it takes your simulation games perhaps to either the next level or perhaps to some other level. Have fun with it and enjoy.